Wow, you know what? That's the fascinating part of your story because you mentioned you turn your pain into passion. I'm asking this question right here. Is this one of those things that you hear about when people suffer a loss or have a mishap or a misstep or a setback that kind of pushes them into their destiny? Is that kind of how you saw this happening?
When I was in it, absolutely not. I had days where, especially after the breakup and losing, that house. And at the time I had left my job, I resigned from my finance career to get married. And I came home thinking I had no job. I lost my home, I lost the love of my life, and I lost my health because I'm
Wow.
finally admitting to myself I'm not well. So when I say I was broken, I was I was shattered. And just like muscles, right? The reason you work out is because you tear the muscle down so that when it recovers, the fibers come back stronger, and that's how you build muscle. And that's exactly what happened to me in my life. I had to get broken down so that I could build back stronger and really see what I'm made of. And what's crazy is that I used to sweat the small stuff. I don't even sweat the big stuff now because once you've gone through that, right? It puts life into perspective and you're like, oh, my house is flooding. Not a big deal. I've been through much worse.
Right.
Like, this is
Yeah.
great. Like, that's still a good day in my book. And so I
Yeah.
think that there's something beautiful about the pain. And to your point, I'm not special. This is a story that has been reheated throughout history. You see mothers that have a child battling cancer and they leave their job and they become these amazing fundraisers for child cancer research. And people feel that if they can give their pain a purpose, it's not going to completely take the pain away, but it's going to soften the blow a little bit
Hmm.
because there's a reason something happened.
Yeah, but it is a special story, and it does make you special, and I'll tell you why. Because even though this is your pain, and you given the description of somebody who has cancer, which you would consider a little bit worse prognosis or diagnosis than yours, but what happens is when a person such as yourself is able to open up and share with others what their pain was, these stories become inspirational. Because what it does is, see, everybody has these moments in their life. They may not be as big, or they may be bigger, or they may be very similar. But every living human being has these crossroads in their life. And when they hear stories like people from yourself who go through things like this, it causes them to go, wow, hey, I can too if she did that. Because if through all of my hardships in life, I've heard some stories where I go, wow, okay, cool. Well, I can do this. Like, I'm trying to get in shape right now, right? And then I looked at this uh, Special Olympics thing that they have for bodybuilders, and the guy came out and he has like no legs from the knee down and a little abnormally in his hip, and he was ripped. And I went, okay, wait a minute, hold up, Steve. That kills your excuse because this dude right here did it. And so I think you are special, and I think that you sharing your story like this, especially women, man, especially the heartbreak sometimes it takes women so far down, but there's always a up for you. And you got to see some women surviving it all. And I mean, like you said, you lost your house, you lost your health, and you lost the love of your life. Wow, that's a big wipeout. And then for you to come. So congratulations to that. So let's get to this part right here. What is it? What part of it, and where did you decide to start sharing these home improvement videos online?
Yeah, great question. So, to piggyback off of what I said earlier, I was posting these at the time to my 900, friends and family followers. And I was doing it when I was engaged because more than anything, I wanted to get validation so that my fiance would feel like I was doing a good job and see that everyone liked the rooms I was creating for us. And that's actually, part of how I honed in on my editing skills, right? Is practicing videos of my dogs and videos of that house. And at the time it was out of my own insecurity to impress him and not really any other reason. And then when you look at what I'm doing now, and sharing it with 4.5 million people between my two accounts. I'm sharing it now because I'm proud of it, because I love the idea of showing people that, you know, if I can do it with no experience and no courses in editing, in marketing, in design, in construction, and I can figure out how to do that and get millions of views, then trust me, you can too. Because 2.5 years ago, I had zero experience with any of this. So now it's more about, you know, showing people that if I can do it, I promise you can too. And then also there's an underpinning of mental health that I really want to normalize talking about it, because part of why I got sicker was I didn't feel safe talking about it. I felt like I would look weak, and I would look broken and not perfect. And that's what made me sicker. So like I said, your secrets make you sicker. And something that I think is proof in my social media and in my posts is that, you know, I took my deepest, darkest secret. We all have something. We all have something that we would be devastated if people knew about us, or that's terrifying. And you will take it to your grave. You don't want anyone to know. That was mine. I was struggling so deep, and it was so dark, and it felt so imperfect. And I did not want anyone to know, including the person I was about to marry. So I kept this lie, right? And it made me sicker. And now the thing that I was terrified of anyone in the world to know, I have now made available to 4.5 million people, right? And it took the power away from the secret, and instead it empowered me to be okay with the fact that I'm human, I'm flawed. I've had some really dark days. I still have some dark moments, but as far as where I am with, you know, mental health, I make it such a priority in my life, and I make it so transparent on my social media and in my videos, so that people know that it's okay to not be okay. And they also hopefully know that it's incredibly powerful and brave to ask for help. And if the person doesn't want to be there for you, that's okay. That's just not the person who's supposed to be there with you at that time. Ask again.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, it's inspiring to me, because you said you have some people have these dark secrets. Everybody has one that they have to take to their grave with them, or so to speak. And I'm glad you said that, because I have about 7 of them, and they're going to my grave, and I won't be digging them up no time soon. And let's pray to God that they stay there. I got 7 of them. Hey, let me say this, but with all that you do, the videos and everything, what's even more impressive to me is you do this while you're holding down a full-time job. Now, with all this you're doing, and you got a full-time job, how do you manage it all?
This is probably one of the most common questions I get, aside from when are you leaving your day job? But I think it comes down to this, you know, and I'm fortunate here, because my brain at rest, like my baseline calm state of mind, is when I have multiple things happening at once. So if I'm laying on a beach in Tahiti, I am uncomfortable, I am anxious, my brain is spinning, and I cannot sit still. For me, my state of calm is when I'm multitasking. And so that is hyper convenient if you're going to run multiple businesses at once. So for example, when I am walking my dogs in the morning and late at night, I'm on the call with my team we've got a decor line, and we're trying to figure out how to efficiently get containers from our manufacturer over to the US. And when I'm folding clothes, I'm listening to an economic market update and taking notes on a notepad right next to my dryer. If I'm on a design project, which I only do on the weekends because it's my side job, if I'm on a design project, I'm coordinating everybody, I'm designing and doing the decor. I'm also doing the construction, and I'm also the videographer filming it, knowing that I'm going to edit it and create all these cool transitions afterwards. So like even on a project, I'm kind of wearing 5 hats just to get it all done. And that's how I'm the most productive. And it's also how I'm the most calm. So for me, it's my happy place is multitasking. So it's not that hard.
That's great. Okay, let's go here. We've got a lot of people on this call, a lot of young aspiring entrepreneurs, a lot of people who are entrepreneurs. What advice do you have for that person who's trying to build a purpose-filled and a profitable business from the ground up? What would you say to this person?
I'd say there's a huge jump between a wantrepreneur and an entrepreneur. And a wantrepreneur is somebody that has all these dreams and they want to accomplish all these things, but they don't want to do the work. An entrepreneur is somebody who says, like, I'm going in 100%. I'm going to put in the time. I'm going to put in the energy. I'm going to work the extra hours. Sometimes I get criticized on my social media for, I don't know, maybe sensationalizing, burning out or working too hard or working late hours. And I get frustrated with that because my intention is to show people that when you're doing something that you're passionate about, it doesn't feel like you're overworked or you're tired. I wake up hours before my alarm clock goes off on these projects. I just want to get back there. I'm so excited. And so my best piece of advice, if you want to create a purposeful business, is to first find your passion, because inevitably your purpose will be linked to your passion. And then the follow-up question I get is, well, how do I find my passion, right? Like, I didn't find it till I was in my early 30s. Like, if you're going to find your passion, it's going to be when you're doing something and time just starts to evaporate. Picture like your best first date, right? Imagine being on your best first date. You get there at 7 p.m., you sit down at the restaurant, and all of a sudden the lights are dimming and they say it's time to leave because it's 11:30. And you cannot believe 4.5 hours just passed because you were so enraptured in this person and what you were talking about and all the butterflies you're feeling. Like, that's because you're doing something that you're passionate about, right? You're falling in love. The same thing goes for business. Find something, a hobby. It could be playing with dogs, playing guitar, helping the homeless, whatever it is that time seems to just disappear. That's probably linked to your passion, and that guaranteed is linked to your purpose. And I promise you, your purpose on this earth is not to become rich. It is not to make money. If that is your only purpose to be here, you will not be successful. It's great to make money. And I guarantee you, if you find your passion and you go hard in the paint and really push yourself to execute on however to make it profitable, the money will be there more than you ever expected. But you have to find your passion first.
That's true.